If you're shopping for a new GPU in 2026 and looking at NVIDIA's Blackwell lineup, one question keeps coming up. Should you go with the RTX 5070 or spend a bit more and get the 5070 Ti? Both cards are from the same generation, use the same Blackwell architecture, and both support DLSS 4. But the differences in performance, VRM, and real-world price are big enough that picking the wrong one could cost you either extra money or missing performance you needed. This article covers everything you need to know before buying, from specs and gaming results to value and long-term use. The two cards are built on different chips from the start. The RTX 5070 Ti uses NVIDIA's GB203 chip with 8,960 CUDA cores, while the RTX 5070 runs on the GB205 chip with 6,144 CUDA cores. WCCF Tech. This is not just a number on a box. It directly affects how fast each card handles games, video editing, and AI tasks. The 5070 Ti also has 7D render, pipelines, and 16 GB of GDDR7 memory, while the RTX 5070 has 48 pipelines and 12 GB of GDDR7. Nano review that 4 GB difference in VRAM is one of the most important things to think about when choosing between these two cards in 2026. The VRAM gap matters more than it used to. NVIDIA says DLSS 4 improvements mean you need less VRAM than before, but many enthusiasts still do not want to go below 16 GB. Windows Central. That concern makes sense because new games and AI applications are using more memory every year. On top of that, the 5070 Ti moves data 33% faster due to better memory bandwidth and also delivers 42% more raw computing power than the standard 5070. How many FPS? Both cards do share some important features though. 5th generation tensor cores, FP8, and FP4 support and PCIe Gen 5 connectivity are present in both, which means both are useful for gaming as well as AI and creative work. Power use is another thing worth knowing before you buy. The RTX 5070 uses 50 watts less power than the 5070 Ti, how many FPS, which is helpful if you have a smaller power supply or want to keep electricity costs low. Testing shows the 5070 Ti needs at least an 850W power supply to run stably, and a 1000W unit is recommended to handle sudden power spikes safely. Of Zen and computing. So if you are building a new PC around one of these cards, make sure your power supply is ready for the job. Now, let us talk about how these cards actually perform in games. In testing across 13 modern games, the RTX 5070 Ti averaged 163 FPS at 1440p and 97 FPS at 4K on a Ryzen 9 9900X system. The PC enthusiast. Those are very solid numbers, and the standard RTX 5070 falls behind, but not by as much as the specs. Might make you think. Across more than 100 games, the 5070 Ti is on average 23% faster than the standard 5070, scoring 59 out of 100 versus 48 out of 100 in overall gaming ratings. How many FPS? The gap grows when you push to higher resolutions. The performance difference becomes even more obvious in demanding scenarios. In 2026 benchmark testing, the Ti came out 29% ahead in synthetic tests, 25% faster at 4K gaming, and up to 45% more efficient in AI-related tasks. Best GPUs for AI. For 1080p gaming though, the standard RTX 5070 handles everything just fine. At its launch, price, the RTX 5070 is more than enough for 1080p and 1440p gaming and offers great value for money. Nano review. If you already have or plan to get a 4K monitor, that is where the 5070 Ti starts to make a real difference. The 5070 Ti gives a better 1440p experience and lets you play at 4K without losing too many frames. Windows Central. One of the biggest reasons to buy any Blackwell card is DLSS 4, and both cards support it fully. Multiframe Generation, the most exciting new part of DLSS 4, is exclusive to Blackwell GPUs like the RTX 5070 and 5070 Ti, and is not available on older RTX 40 series cards, Windows Central. This feature uses AI to generate extra frames between real ones, which can massively boost how smooth games feel. PC World called the RTX 5070 Ti with DLSS 4 Multiframe Generation a truly transformative experience, saying it is so good for 1440p and 4K gaming that it makes the more expensive RTX 5080 look less appealing. PC World. The key thing to understand is that DLSS 4 is not only for the Ti model. Multi-frame generation works best when your base frame rate is already above 40 FPS, and it requires individual game support to function. Of Zen and computing. While the 5070 Ti handles DLSS 4 with more breathing room, the standard RTX 5070 also gets a solid boost from multi-frame generation. Windows Central. In day-to-day gaming, both cards deliver the kind of smooth AI-boosted experience that makes Blackwell GPUs feel like a real step forward from the last generation. Now comes the part that complicates everything, the price. The RTX 5070 Ti launched at an official price of $749, but in 2026, the real prices in stores are between $880 and $169, with some models going past from $200. Original price, a worldwide shortage of GDDR7 memory has reduced supply and pushed prices far above what NVIDIA planned. As of early 2026, buying either the RTX 5070 Ti or RTX 5070 at their official launch prices is basically impossible. WC Yozomo FTech. This changes how you should think about value completely. The price gap between the two cards has grown much larger than it should be. At launch prices, the RTX 5070 Ti was about 36% more expensive than the standard 5070. Not cheap, but reasonable for a higher tier card. At current street prices, though, the 5070 Ti costs around 69% more than the standard 5070, the PC enthusiast, which is very hard to justify when the performance difference is only around 20 to 25% in most games. Looking at value scores, the RTX 5070 gets a 47.0 rating, while the 5070 Ti gets 38.0, which clearly shows the standard. 5070 gives you more performance per dollar at today's prices. GPU deals. So which card should you actually buy? The answer comes down to your screen, your use case, and your budget. The RTX 5070 is a great fit for high refresh 1440p monitors, running 104 Hz displays and above without breaking a sweat. PC outlet. If you game at 1080p or 1440p and want a modern Blackwell card without spending too much, the RTX 5070 is the smart choice. If you want the best possible performance, especially for 4K gaming or heavy creative work, the RTX 5070 Ti wins every benchmark and gives you more room to grow as games get more demanding over the next few years. The PC enthusiast. There's also a strong case for considering AMD before you decide. The Radeon RX 9070 XT offers nearly the same gaming performance as the RTX 5070 Ti at a significantly lower price, original price making it worth a serious look if you do not need NVIDIA-only features like Multiframe Generation. AMD has also released FSR 4.0 as its own AI upscaling technology, though it does not yet match everything DLSS 4 can do. For gamers who just want the most frames for their money, AMD's option should not be ignored. The bottom line after testing both cards is simple. The RTX 5070 Ti is the faster GPU, but the RTX 5070 is the better buy for most people. The PC enthusiast. If you can find the 5070 Ti close to its $749 launch price, it is a great card for 4K gaming and heavy workloads. But if both cards are selling above their intended prices, which is the situation for most buyers right now, the standard RTX 5070 makes far more sense. It is powerful, modern, supports DLSS 4 fully, and costs considerably less. The RTX 5070 Ti is one of the best balanced cards in the Blackwell lineup, but only when you can get it at the price NVIDIA actually intended, of Zen and computing. Set a price alert, stay patient, and do not let stock shortages push you into overpaying. The market will settle down, and when it does, both of these cards will be excellent deals at their proper prices.